Following the release of his autobiography, Newcastle's Godfather of rock, Mark Tinson, has curated a lineup of some of the most influential musicians from Maitland to create the new compilation CD, The Maitland Sound from 1970 till 2024. To celebrate its release, most of the artists who featured on the album will make their way to Flamingos Live on the 7th of November to perform the songs. Here's our chat with the man behind it all, Tinno. Let's talk about the Maitland Sound from 1970 till 2024. How'd the idea come about and why'd you want to capture the sound of Maitland?
Well, look, I'm a proud Maitland boy. Yep. Grew up in Maitland in Tinambit, which is next to East Maitland, on the way to Morpeth. And on a good day, you can smell the sewage treatment.
Oh, beautiful.
If the wind's blowing in the right way. But, you know, maybe they've fixed it by now. God, it's a long time since I lived in Maitland. But when I was writing my book, my autobiography, there's a lot in it about the people that I grew up with and performed with and mentored me and were a great effect on my life. And I thought, one day I'm going to put an album together of all these people. You know? So rather than keep it very, very, let's say, archaeological from the 70s, there's not much recording from that period right up until the 80s. You know, there wasn't that much recording going on for those artists. So some of the artists that are represented, for example, my band Bluegrass, which was formed, I think, in 69, we didn't record anything. But I've got some recordings that we've done of late, you know, because I just dig playing with the guys, and every chance I get, we get together and reunion. And it's usually part of a theme of something or other, but there's, I think, 2 bluegrass tracks on there. And there's also, I was also involved with the Tex Pistols. And there was 3 guys from Maitland in that. Yeah. Tony Johns, UJ Neal, who sadly passed, and myself. So I thought, great, Tex Pistol, let's put that on. So I've got the Velvet Underground, who I saw when I was in high school. You know, and it was funny, they were dressed in striped bell-bottom pants and, you know, big coats that they'd stolen from their girlfriend's closet, you know, and scarves and the whole thing. And we were driving past the Mechanics Institute, which used to have gigs there in East Maitland. I was driving past with my dad, and he's going, "Oh, look at that." And I'm going, "Yeah, look at that. That's what I want to be."
Yeah, absolutely.
But the drummer and guitar player in the Velvet Underground went on to form Ted Mulrigang with Ted. So, you know, there's been some great artists come out of Maitland. Yeah. And some of it unsung to a large extent.
Yeah, totally. So obviously you would have worked with like heaps of musos throughout the years. So how did you go about actually like curating it down to just this, you know, smaller list of people and musos?
Look, a lot of it was about people I'd worked with, people that I knew, and also I had some input from guys from Maitland who were a little bit more contemporary than me. So Ed Peters from Autumn Hearts, he was a great source of, you know, you should check these guys out. So I was aware of Muzzy Pip, who won the, I think, the Newcastle Triple J, or is it Triple J? Unearthed. Yeah. So they went on to have quite a good recording career, not the success that they deserved, but I had worked with them as a live audio operator at the Castle in a dark period of my life. And so I knew of them, but they've broken up years ago. But Scott from Muzzy Pep has got a new band called Golden Gay Times.
Oh, yes.
And it's just rocking.
Yeah.
So I thought, got to have that on. And Ed also turned me on to Magpie Diaries.
Magical.
Yeah, and Matt that runs the Dashville Skyline concerts and on his property is part of that. And you go, it's like listening to an Aussie version of The Band. You know? So, it's kind of cool. So I stumbled across some stuff I'd never heard of. I also presented some stuff I had heard of and that I was aware of that people may not have thought, oh, yeah, Maitland. But a thing that Brian McVernon was involved with. Now, he wasn't from Maitland, but he teamed up with 4 Maitland people. And there's one of their tracks on there. And I'm going to leave you for people to buy the album before they discover which band it is.
All right, brilliant. I'd love to know how Dave Wells ended up on the album because, you know, he's one of my favourite local singer-songwriters.
I'd come into contact with Dave, and it probably slipped my mind for a bit. Ed reminded me again, but I'd actually interviewed him when I did some work with the ABC, and he's got some really good industry contacts. It's recorded with an engineer or a producer from Seattle, I think. So he's heading up and away. So,
of course.
Great voice. What a voice,
Yeah.
So he's often described as the real thing. We know that's Russell Morris, but, maybe he's real thing number two.
So tell us about the pumpkin on the front cover, because it's not Halloween themed, right?
No, it's not Halloween themed, because I don't know if you're aware of this, Bonnie, but Halloween is not an Australian tradition.
I've heard that lots of people are upset about it, but I have also heard that it's Queer Christmas.
Queer Christmas?
Queer Christmas, because we all get to dress up as what we want to be.
Oh, okay. I never thought of it like that.
Some food for thought.
I'm going to have to reimagine my whole understanding of Halloween.
Exactly.
But I did see a little cartoon came through of somebody treating and a kangaroo going, "This is Australia, whack!" And I thought, perfect. No, what happened with this is the Maitland football team, for as long as I can remember and longer, for 80 years, have run onto the field as the pumpkin pickers.
No way.
Yes.
What?
So I thought, I'm going to do that. And then people might go, a Halloween album, but then I can explain how important this is to our culture. Because at Maitland Boys High, if you didn't march around the quadrangle with a 303 over your shoulder in faux army uniform, you played footy.
Okay.
Or you tried to get out of all of that by playing guitar.
What's a 303?
That's an old rifle that they used to use during the Second World War, maybe the First World War, who knows.
Okay. Interesting. Wow.
Yeah.
How times have changed.
Maitland Boys High.
It's
now at co-ed.
Are they still the pumpkin pickers?
Absolutely they are. Yep.
Good. They would love that.
Maybe they'd be worth an interview.
Yeah, I think so.
How does the album, The Maitland Sound, impact on the pumpkin pickers?
Yes, of course.
Can you imagine them go,
Yeah. And so this gorgeous album is going to be celebrated on the 7th of November at Flamingos Live. Can we talk about the night?
We must.
Yeah. Because so what can we expect? Are we going to see the whole lineup and, see it from track by track?
Look, I could say yes, but I would be telling a fib. No.
Okay.
Look, a lot of the people aren't together anymore, like the Velvet Underground. One of the lead singers passed away. I've got Les Hall from Ted Mora Gang, who was also in Velvet Underground, is going to perform with me. And I'm calling it the Maitland All-Stars because there's me and Les. Pam Gully, who's known as Pam Barnett to us, is from Cessnock, but she was always singing in Maitland, usually with my band or one of our contemporaries. She actually sang backup vocals on the first Rabbit album that we recorded for CBS. So Pam's included. She's got a great track on there that she recorded in the 80s when I was working in Sydney.
Yeah.
And she took it off to England to try and find a record deal. Didn't successfully find a record deal, but she did get to hang out with Pete Townsend from The Who for an afternoon in the pub.
Yeah, wow. That's incredible.
Yeah, well, and he was bemoaning the fact that he was having trouble getting a record deal as well. And
wow.
This is a little bit risque story, but he said, unless you're found in a gutter with a needle in your arm and a carrot up your bum, they don't want to know about you.
That's another
from Pete Townsend.
Wow, that's incredible. Jeez, I don't even know where to go from. Just give me
onwards and upwards,
Bonnie.
And some of the acts will be appearing. The Golden Gaytimes are appearing. Autumn Hearts are appearing. Bluegrass is appearing, which I'm excited about because I just love those guys. And Bob Hanley out front is one of the truly great Newcastle voices or Hunter Valley voices. Came from Maitland.
Yeah.
And what I wanted to do was have Bobby Taylor and the Impacts featured on there somehow, because Bobby and his band were a band I used to go and see at the Maitland Town Hall when I was still in high school, So they were kind of a big influence on a lot of the people that came after. But sadly, Bobby wasn't well enough to appear on the album, and there's nothing. Nobody recorded at that time. Even though I've said he's not from Maitland, but the Hunter River runs through his veins. my grandson, Eli.
Oh, my goodness,
Will be
yes.
appearing with me as well.
Yeah, only
He's
6 years old.
6 years old.
Wow.
So I'm excited about that too.
Yeah. And has he played with you before?
He has.
Yeah.
My last 70th birthday concert.
Yep.
And,
How was the experience?
It was fantastic. He's such a cool little cat, and the idea that maybe he shouldn't be up there doesn't enter his head.
Yeah.
That's where he belongs.
That's incredible.
And, shout out to his guitar teacher, Emily Smith, who's just done a great job with him.
Brilliant. Yeah. Do you think that, lack of fear has come from maybe seeing you up there performing or seeing...
No, I don't think so. I mean, I did play at my wife Julie's 60th birthday with some friends, and he was just blown away.
Yeah.
And when he was asked what he wants for his birthday, he went, "I want a band."
That's beautiful. Wow.
Very cool little guy.
Yeah.
If I have another little look here, I can tell you some of the other artists.
Well, I'd love to know if
go
it's
on.
okay. We know what the sound of Newcastle is, or, there's quite a lot of discussion around that. Usually it's influenced by Silverchair or, that kind of garage surfy sound. How would you explain or describe the sound of Maitland?
Look, I don't think it's that much a distinctive sound, but I know that growing up in Maitland and playing in bands and aspiring to play in bands and whatever, we used to go and watch a band called The Influence of Cecil Rhodes, and they'd be just rehearsing up the road, and they'd just let us hang out and watch them. And the keyboard player who went on to join the Velvet Underground was Tony Heads, and he was a great mentor of mine. He convinced my dad that I needed to have a Gretsch guitar.
What a legend.
Yeah,
we need more people like that.
He took us down to what we called the Gretsch factory, which was LeBlanc Music at the time, and we bought a Gretsch guitar. And then the guys in the Velvet Underground would come and see my band Bluegrass, and their idea, I think, was these guys have got something, we should encourage them.
Yeah.
And I think what we had was we were all growing up in a fairly small community of musicians and schoolmates too. And the music, there was a guy called Nev Peacock who sadly died a long, long time ago. He used to bring us records and go, "Have a listen to this. It's John Mayall and the Blues Breakers with Eric Clapton." And you go, and you'd play it, and he'd turn us on to Savoy Brown, another blues band, Led Zeppelin, and Tony Heads was interested in prog rock, ELP, bands like that. So all of those influences filtered down to us. And we were all sort of sharing a pool of music.
Yeah.
And I guess most of it from England and Australia. So I guess we had a kind of a like-minded attitude to music. And I think having the Velvet Underground as a performance model, I mean, they used to set the organ on fire, and the singer would set his coat on fire. and they were, I think, the very first band to appear on the midday show.
Okay.
Yeah. But, they were wild, simply wild, and that's what we want to do.
Yeah.
That's our model. And I think performance-wise, the bands from Maitland were committed to that, and they delivered, So I think maybe that's kind of the common thread.
Yeah.
But if you go back to the Velvet Underground, and their track is actually a cover of a Jefferson Airplane tune. I mean, it doesn't sound anything like bluegrass.
Yeah.
You go, no, they don't sound. And you listen to Autumn Hearts, and you listen to Golden Gay Times. I mean, the Golden Gay Times are ferocious. Their delivery is like, whoa, hold on.
You often play at what used to be Lazotte's, which is now Flamingos Live. Why do you keep going back to that space? What do you love about it?
Oh, it's a good room. They provide sound, they provide lights, they provide multimedia if you want to use that. My audience, don't want to stand up. I don't think that's a secret. So to be able to have a concert venue where they can sit down and I can present a concert rather than go and slog it out at a pub for 3 hours.
True.
I can pick how long I deliver the concert for, how many parts of the concert there are, who I'm going to put in. I don't get any splashback from the people, the operators. They're happy to have me there. You know, we usually do a full house. So who's not happy with that?
Yeah, absolutely.
The proprietors are happy, I'm happy, you know. And the punters seem to be happy. They keep coming back even though I only play once a year.
Well, Tinno, I can't wait for the Maitland Sounds.
We only have to wait till Thursday week.
I know, it's only a week away on the 7th of November.
And I remind people, buy your tickets now.
Yeah, it probably will sell out, as it does.
Yeah. But I don't want to discourage people from finding out if there's still seats.
Yes, definitely.
Oh, no, it's sold out. I won't bother. Don't do that.
No. Get on the site. It's not that hard to do. Thank you so much for coming in for a chat.
Oh, look, part of it was just to come and see Bonnie.
Oh,
you know,
stop it.
The voice of Newcastle's music scene.
Sure. Thanks, Tinno.
Thank you.